Morning. It's almost 9 o'clock. Bit late to be doing a video, but nevertheless, my thought for the day comes after speaking with some fellow Americans online. Interesting conversation. It's always good to have an insight to the psyche of another group of people. I think many of you know that, or have suggested that I hate Americans, which is actually not true, but we'll let you believe that if you wish. But let's just ask ourselves, what is so different about being American than being Australian, English, New Zealander, or maybe a European? My suggestion is that America is an empire, just like England was an empire once. Sadly, it's no longer, or should I say, historically, it's no longer. At the moment, there still remains what one might call an empire in America. And with all American becoming a part of that empire, there's bound to be a certain number that will be persuaded to follow the rules, and many who choose not to, just like there are in England and Australia and other parts of the world. But one fundamental difference between that of England, Germany, France, Belgium, Holland, Denmark, and that is the belief of being who you are first. For Americans, so many of you see joining the military as not only a career, but an honor to serve the country, to become a centurion, to become a warrior class. That's fine. If we were Vikings, we would grow up, follow our father, go and fight the wars that our leaders suggested we should do. That's part of being a warrior. Some, of course, who are warriors will suggest that those who aren't, that they're somehow a pussy, a weakling, somebody who's not to be admired. Again, a point of view that doesn't go along with the propaganda. Oi, be quiet. A cheeky young lady decided that she wants to draw attention to herself on the video. But back to my point, and that is that it's not an attack on being American. There's nothing wrong with being American. What is important is that being American, that you realize that it isn't the center of the world. It may well be your center of your world, but it isn't the center of the world. Around America, the rest of the world does fine, thank you, without being an American. Some of you might suggest that they don't do very well, but then I might suggest they've been around a lot longer than you have. The concept of thanking anybody who's been in the military for their service is a very American thing. You don't see English people saying to ex-servicemen, "Thank you for your service, sir." You don't see Australians doing that, or Kiwis, come to think of it, or Germans, or French, or even Russian, because that's not part of the propaganda of the empire. The empire is to inspire others to fight the wars of politicians. The need for politicians to make money is to have wars, to keep the machine going. And you, I'm afraid, are part of it. Now, when you come here to the Philippines in your retirement, you unfortunately bring that idea here. You come here quite often, and I'm generalizing here. Those that have been indoctrinated fully come here with the idea that your past is what defines you. And I can assure you, if you've done time in the military, you've learnt to polish your shoes. You've learnt to make yourself look good, keep your uniform tidy, and you've also learnt to follow orders. Orders blindly, without thinking, because that's part of military life. Follow the general's rule. Now, is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? It's neither. Conscription in many countries was the norm for Western Europe and also for parts of Australia and New Zealand. And with that came a feeling of discipline, a feeling of doing it the right way. But did you, when you finished, feel the need to have people praise you for your service in the military? I suggest maybe not, only in America. You know, even a politician in America is thanked for his community service, his devotion to the people, which could be further from the truth. It's a devotion and to establishing networks that will enable their family to get richer after they're no longer in politics. An opportunity to get some of that bribery, that corruption in their lives to come to fruit, to come to bear fruit, so that they can create their own dynasty, however you want to pronounce it. And my thought is, you Americans who come here need to, no one's asking you to give up your pride, to give up your feeling of pride towards your country. But I'm just suggesting to you to come over here and be Mr. Flash Harry. Doesn't matter how much money you've got. If you think you're better than everybody else, I've got news for you. You're not. You're just Joe. And yes, you've served in the military. Great. That was your history. The fact that you maybe ended up in Walmart pushing trolleys around because you couldn't get a decent job isn't the fault of a Brit who brings it to your attention. It's the fault of the country from which you came from. It's the fault of not being able to offer you a decent job when you came out of the military. Some of you were successful, some of you very successful, but the majority fell short. And a lot of those fell short come here, but they bank on their military background to change their lives around and be noticed. And the Filipino is the only one that wants to be noticed, not an American. They don't like Americans who are brag, flash their money around, tell them that things aren't the way they should be done. It's up to you to realize that very quickly. You're just Joe, nothing more. So, no doubt you'll have something to say. I hope you will take it in the spirit in which it's given, and that you don't just turn it back on me as if I don't know what I'm talking about. Do you know what you're talking about, really? Thumbs up. Subscribe. Notification button. Bye now.